Hey everyone, it's Extreme 3D, and in this video we will be talking about different types of 3D printing filament. What we'll be talking about is PLA filament. This filament is great, and its melting point is from 195 degrees to around 230 degrees Celsius. This filament is great for printing little toys and prototypes that don't require the strength that ABS has. Here I have some examples of stuff that was printed in PLA. Here we have a little octopus. It's the MakerBot octopus, I believe. And it came out really well. It's sturdy. I mean, you don't really need it to be any stronger, but sturdy enough for regular use. Then the next thing we have is a little napkin holder. I think that's what it is. But yeah, it's a really cool design. As you can see here, that was printed in PLA. Most of the things I print are in PLA. Rarely do I use ABS, unless it's for a part that I need to print for my printer bot or another machine. Okay. The next part, or the next piece I have is a phone stand, and this works with my iPhone. And it just fits in right there. I think it works both ways, but yeah, it's a neat little stand I designed very quickly. So yeah, those are a few examples of what I've printed in PLA and what you'd be able to print in PLA too. The next thing that we'll be talking about is ABS filament. So sadly, I only have the cube cartridge for ABS filament, but it's the same as regular ABS filament that you'd buy for like a different printer. This is just a proprietary cartridge, sadly, so this was the only ABS I had lying around. So ABS is great for making strong parts. I use ABS mostly to create printer parts, mostly for my printer bot actually. So I use a ton of ABS for my printer bot, and you'll see in this clip going right now that most of the parts on my printer bot are made from ABS filament because it's much stronger. It can withstand heat more than PLA can. And as you can see, I used ABS for my extruder carriage part of my printer bot because last time I used PLA and I was stupid about using that because the PLA warped and my printer broke. So I had to fix that and reprint a bunch of parts. One problem when using ABS is it does tend to warp a ton. So you need a heated bed to keep it flat on the print bed, and it's much better to have a heated bed when printing with ABS because it will prevent the ABS from warping. So here we have a bunch of different parts that were printed in ABS. I'll show some close-ups of it. A few of them turned out better than the others did, but some I've been experimenting with. So here we just have some old printer bot brackets that I designed to keep the bed level and actually keep it on the printer, but they eventually worn out, so I had to replace them. The next thing I'm going to show you is a little experiment. I've been using some acetone in ABS. So this is a failed print that I tried sticking together. So I'm not sure if you can see, but right there, let's see. You can see how it split. So these were two separate parts, and I glued them, I bonded them together with some acetone. And I actually started playing around with this before the acetone fully like hardened and solidified and stuff like that. So I actually was able to squeeze everything and then just hardened that way. Okay, so the next thing I have is Kenny from South Park, and this worked out really well. It was two pieces, but I'll show you a close-up of this, but it is ABS, and I used acetone to smooth out everything, and it's very shiny and it came out really well. Alright, so lastly, I'm going to go over different composite materials. So I'm a huge fan of exotic filament. I just love it so much, so I'm going to get through all the exotic filament that I have quickly because it's all different, or mostly different. So the first filament I have is, it's Bronzefil. I just got it. It's great. It's just like copper fill, and I can polish it with my rock tumbler. And I've only printed one thing with it so far, but it's just like copper fill. I'll show you a close-up of this. So it came out really well. Next filament I'm going to show you is copper fill. It's exactly the same as bronze fill except with copper particles. So that's the difference between the two. Here is an example of something I've printed in copper fill and polished with my rotary rock tumbler. And it's great because it weighs a lot more than PLA does. And it looks like metal and it feels like metal too. It doesn't look like a 3D print, but something that was casted in metal. As you can already tell, I'm a big fan of metal 3D printer filament, so I'm just going to keep this going. So here I have Protopasta's magnetic iron PLA, and this is magnetic. It's made from iron. It can rust and it can be polished. So here's a little example. It's printed with this filament and polished in the rotary rock tumbler. So that's pretty cool. It's not as heavy as ColorFab's filament, metal filament, but it does feel like metal. Next 3D printer filament I have is stainless steel PLA. I've yet to test this out yet, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be cool. So I will make a video when I finally print some stuff out and I'll review this. So stick around for that. Now I'm going to move on from metal filament, and here we have some wood filament. It's made from some wood particles, and it feels like wood. It's by Hatchbox. I mean, it doesn't really look like wood, but you can make it look like wood if you sand it. I'll show you a close-up of this, but it does look like wood when you sand it a lot. And it's some really cool filament, and you can stain it too. The next filament we have is carbon fiber PLA. It is made from carbon fiber chunks, and it's pretty strong. It's not as strong as ABS, but it's pretty cool filament, and this is a sample I got at Maker Faire, and it was free, so I took it, but I haven't tested it out yet, so stick around for that. Alright, so the next filament we have is conductive PLA, and as you can already tell, it's conductive, so electrical current can flow through it. Here we have a stylus for a phone or a tablet. It didn't really work so well. The bottom of it works. I mean, it kind of works, but it's great for circuits and stuff, integrated circuits. So if I finally get a FlashForge Creator Pro, I'll be able to print two filaments at the same time. So I will do conductive PLA and PLA or ABS or whatever to make different circuits for LEDs and stuff. Alright, so the last filament we have is Ninjaflex, and it's a really flexible material, so you can like bend it and stuff, and it stretches and it keeps its shape. I actually have not been able to print with this because my printer bot wasn't able to print with it, so if I get a FlashForge Creator Pro, I'll be able to do some awesome flexible prints with this, so stay tuned for that. Alright, well, thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe, leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and you can find me on Thingiverse here. Right there, yeah. You can also find me on Instagram there, and Facebook there, and please support me on Patreon, and go on my Thingiverse account. You can find a ton of cool designs, and stick around for more. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.